Hey, my name's Sylvia. This is my first video on YouTube, maybe my last, we'll see. I just wanted to hop on here and talk about a topic that's near and dear to me right now. I was just compelled to get on here and kind of just talk about it. I am 28 years old and I am scheduled to have a hysterectomy in a couple weeks, like 2 weeks. And in my normal fashion, I was getting on YouTube to try to research like just different people's experiences and kind of what to expect after the hysterectomy. I'm pretty comfortable with, the actual procedure itself. That doesn't really worry me that much. I mean, slightly, just for being put under, but not as much as the after effects and the long-term effects of having a hysterectomy. I'm having a robotic hysterectomy. I'm having a total radical where they remove everything, all your reproductive organs, your fallopian tubes, uterus, ovaries, all that. So I won't have any hormones whenever after the procedure's done, and that's this is my first concern. Obviously, whenever you have a hysterectomy, you go into menopause. And being 28 years old and you have a hysterectomy, and the next day when you wake up, you're in menopause, and my doctor says you're basically a 55-year-old woman, around that, because that's about the time most women go through menopause. So your body's going to go through a shock. I have already been through menopause once, like medically induced menopause for the endometriosis. I had a laparoscopy, and whenever they did that, that's when they said it was stage 4. They weren't able to remove anything because it was so bad in there, and they gave me a shot called Lupron that lasted 3 months to stop my cycle and slow down the endometriosis, because surely if you're looking this up, you know what endometriosis is and all that. But I went into menopause for 3 to 6 months. I think it took me like 6 months to actually get back to normal. But my worst side effect of that was hot flashes. I sweat constantly whenever I was going through that. I should be skin and bones because I was sweating so much, like drenched 24/7. But there were no long-term side effects. It lasted for its duration, a couple months, and then it was gone, and my body was back to normal, which, whatever normal is right now with all this going on. But this is permanent. You can't just say, oh, I don't like menopause anymore, and shove it back in, and everything's going to go back to normal. Well, I've talked to 3 doctors about what to expect with my hysterectomy at this age, and they all 3 had a different opinion. I talked to my normal OB-GYN that I went to for years that saw me through all this. For most of it, I went to a specialist for fertility for a little while before I decided not to pursue that route, and then I went back to him. His opinion was to not take anything. He thinks that I can handle it on my own, and it may be hard, but the risks are just too high for the benefit. And he did say, if you are having a terrible time, I will prescribe you something, and I'm not going to make you suffer. He's wonderful. The second person I talked to was the doctor doing my hysterectomy. I'm seeing a specialist in Little Rock. I live in Arkansas. The reason I'm having a specialist do it is because I went to my appointment to schedule my hysterectomy with my regular doctor, and he said, oh, I was reading your post-op notes and I got cold chills. He said, your endometriosis is just so severe that if you were my wife or my daughter or anything like that, I would want you to go to a specialist. I think he'll do a better job than me. He said, if I do your hysterectomy, you're going to start out abdominally. I cannot save anything. You'll have the big scar. This doctor can at least try it robotically. So I started seeing this doctor last week, and his recommendations on hormone replacement are oral, man-made pharmaceutical hormones. That's what his recommendation was. Now, my family practitioner, who was an OB-GYN and delivered babies and everything for years and years, and now he's just a family doctor, recommends natural hormone replacement like BioT, the pellet that they put inside you that releases the natural hormones, because that's the biggest issue with natural hormones, is getting your body to absorb it. And this way your body can absorb it. He said the benefits are the best. But all 3 doctors, what they had in common was the side effects. All 3 of them said it ages you. You lose elasticity in your skin. You get wrinkles. You're turning 55, basically. And you're going to just age a lot quicker than you would if you were still getting all your regular hormones from your ovaries. So that's scary. That's a lot to think about. There are a lot of risks with the man-made hormones that I've been told. Natural hormones are really expensive. The pharmacies, the insurance companies do not recognize them as a drug yet because they're natural. So it's all out of pocket, and of course it's all up front. But I just wanted to watch what someone else went through. Even if they just tried one way, or if my plan is to try multiple, honestly. And I think that's why one of the reasons I want to share my story is because I want to start out with no hormones. And I may stop there. It may work great, but if I start aging a lot quicker, I would like to start a hormone therapy. I'll probably go least invasive to most invasive, or most expensive, because it seems that's the trend with all of it. If it's no hormones, it's not expensive. The by mouth, the PO hormones, sorry, nurse talk, but anyways, the PO hormones, by mouth, oral ones, aren't as expensive, but they have more risks. And then the most expensive ones, the natural ones, supposedly work best, according to that doctor. And he does do a lot of research and goes to a lot of conferences and stuff on the bioidentical pellets. Now to the nitty-gritty. One of my biggest concerns was my sex life. That was another thing all 3 doctors had in common. It lowers your sex drive. Luckily I have a great one, and it's not something I want to go through yet. And it may not affect me at all, but I've heard so much that that's going to be one of the biggest issues, because it causes you to age. You don't have the hormones to get you ready to go, and it can be very dry, which can cause it to be very painful. You lose desire, and being young and being married, that's important to me. It's not, not trying to be funny or whatever, just kind of funny, but I'm genuinely concerned about my sex life and what's going to happen. And that's something I couldn't find anything on in a young person, or younger. I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm not old yet. So I really wanted to find information on being in your 20s, having a hysterectomy, and how it affects your sex life. And I haven't been able to find anything on that. And I know going through this is scary. And it always helps to know someone else that's been through it and how it affected them. It may not be the same, but maybe it gives you an idea. I know it would be comforting to me right now to be able to watch someone say, I'm 20-something years old, and yes, it affected my sex life. So I just want to document my journey, if that's something you are interested in, if anybody watches this, what it causes, and what works and what doesn't work, and what to expect. So I'll try to make another video in a week or two after my surgery, when we get down to the nitty gritty, and not just like, oh yes, I'm in pain and this, this is what to expect right after surgery. You can find that. I want to talk about the after that. See how it affects your life, if it changes your quality of life to better, because with all the pain and discomfort, it's hard to go through. Anybody that has it knows that you may look fine and you may not look like you're injured in any way or sick, but your insides are a hot mess. Next time I make a video, I've got pictures over here. I'll show y'all my ovaries and my uterus and all that, because it looks crazy. It's pretty bad. It's like hundreds of cysts. Well, maybe not hundreds, but lots of cysts. And lots of adhesions and lots of endometriosis. Also might want to make a video about my infertility and everything I went through with that, because that's a whole nother thing in itself. That is extremely hard to go through. I was just very, very blessed. Ask and you shall receive. I prayed for a baby for years, and now I've got 5. They might not be biologically mine, but they're mine in my heart, and it's wonderful, and I wish that for everybody. But I'm going to get off here for this time. Hopefully I can help somebody and y'all enjoyed this. I'm just rambling at this point, but it's late here. It's after midnight and I'm kind of getting crazy. So I'm going to go to bed and so I can wake up bright and early with my kiddos. But any questions or any certain topics through this that anybody wants to talk about or would like for me to talk about, please let me know. I want to help in any way I can, and hope everybody has a great night, and thank you for watching.